Hey guys, hello and welcome back. This is Hard NOx Performance coming at you with episode number 3. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you guys through how I installed a backup camera into my Subaru and thus winning the war against my driveway. Before we go ahead and get started, please be sure to hit that like button as well as the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you will stay in the loop and get notified each and every time I upload new content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright, so here I have the Crux Interface Solutions backup camera. So this is what we're going to be using to install the backup camera. Wires and a cool little hole saw so I can make the hole in my trunk. And the camera itself is just this little guy right here. So what we're gonna do is route it in the center console, and from there we're gonna have to drill a hole in the trunk and then go from there, see how it fits. So in order to get the backup camera to work, I need two things. One, I need 12 volts of power when I turn the key on, and the second is I need 12 volts of power when I'm shifted into reverse. So the first part will let me access the rear view camera whenever I want just by clicking on the camera button, and the second part will trigger the backup camera to be displayed when I shift into reverse. So for this vehicle, the switch is on the transmission. Therefore, we're just going to tap into the backup lights for the signal. So before I go ahead and start removing anything from the car, I just want to test the functionality of the camera. So I'm going to tap into one of the terminals that provides 12 volts of power. So I already know that it's the yellow and black one from the previous video, and I've already hooked it up as a power source. I need to take this black wire and provide a ground, and from there I should be able to see whether it works or not. Ta-da! It works. Okay, so now we know the camera works. We're good to go and start with the wire routing. Okay, so the camera itself is going to go right in the center point here, through the trunk, hooked up to the to the reverse tail lamps, and then routed up to the front towards the radio. So I'm going to start off by removing these 12 clips. Hook up. Carpet's off, so now I can see that the bezel is secured by 4 fasteners. So I'm just going to go in with this 8mm socket and pop it out. hand is not magnetics. There she goes. So now with the bezel removed, what we're going to do is we're going to find the center point and we're going to drill the hole there and mount the camera to the bezel and route through one of these holes here. So now I've laid out the bezel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply tape in approximately the center. Then I'm going to go in with the tape measurer and I'm going to mark the center point. And from there, I'm going to use a small drill bit to start a hole, and then I'm going to go in with the hole saw and make the hole for the camera. So the reason that I'm using the tape is to protect the coating. I want to see. Just be safe. So I'm going to measure, and this is 28. So I'm going to draw my reference line at 14. That's like right here. And then same thing here, I want to find approximately the center of this. So this is about 3, so what's 2.5? So I want to go So again, you can see right at this intersection, this is where I'm going to drill my initial hole, and then I'm going to go back in with the hole saw. And we have our hole. So here I have the camera. And now we're going to route this wire into the sheet metal of the trunk. So as I previously stated, what we're going to do is route this wire through this hole. You can see that this hole corresponds to this clip. I don't suspect that it's a retaining feature just because we already have 4 fasteners, and it also doesn't have like any wings that lock into the sheet metal. So I'm thinking it's more of air mistake proofing for the factory. So I'm just gonna pop it off. I don't need it, so off it goes. And from here, I can just route it through. I'm using this little tab here to route it and hold it. I'm going to take electrical tape and then just tape it here. Just being careful that I'm not taping over the seal to prevent any water intrusion. And then this is going to go right into where that clip was seated. From there, I just want to make sure that I line up my fasteners to their corresponding holes. So there, 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 and then just pull that. Okay. And from here, I can go ahead and then just refasten the 4 fasteners that I removed. I'm just going to hand start. Alright. And then we're going to pop these 2 tail lamp lights back in. And that's that. Now what we're gonna have to do is take the wire and route it through this grommet here, and then pull the carpet, the side carpet, and then make that connection point to the tail lamps. Okay, so what we're gonna do is remove some of this tape in the conduit and then just make sure that we get it in within the grommet. So we shut the garage because it started raining / snowing because this is Michigan. So I'm gonna have the heater on. It's gonna be noisy. It is what it is. Wire is completely routed through the grommet, as you can see here. We've just secured it with electrical tape. Now I'm going to take the wire that's connected directly to the camera and then route it through this hole and then just make this connection. Alright, now that that connection is secured, then I can go ahead and pop the grommets back into place and unsecure it. Last one. Okay, so now that we've routed that through, we're going to go ahead and remove the carpet and then route it all the way towards the radio. Okay, so now that we've routed our wires through, I need to ground the camera, but I also need a power source. From earlier in the video, we already found a power source up by the radio using this wire. So this one actually has an A or B, meaning I could choose to either use this red one or this red one. Because I'm choosing this one up towards the radio versus this one back here, I'm just going to tape it back. So now I'm going to have to just gain access to the reverse tail lamp. So I'm just going to pop this cover off. Okay, and from here I'm going to disconnect and then just gain access to these wires. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead and splice in for my power and ground. I've already confirmed that this is the reverse tail light just by turning on the car and then shifting it into reverse, and the light turned on. So I'm just gonna take my wire cutters here. Okay, so what we've done here is we spliced to the power connection to the reverse tail lamp, and now we're going to take this wire and then just route it all the way to the front, and then we also spliced our ground. So this is what it looks like, and all I have to do is just put it right back into place. Where's the tail lamp? This one actually had to rotate it in. Okay. So now that I've made the connections and the splices that I needed to make, now I need to route the power and the video wire to the radio. But what I'm gonna do is every 6 inches or so, I'm gonna use electrical tape just to combine the wires and just to keep it clean. And yeah, so I'm gonna just do that. So the wires, I was able to just easily tuck behind the carpet without having to remove any of these push pins. I am gonna have to remove this bottom one because my plan is to route it through the door sill. So keep that there. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the door sill. And take the weather strip with me. Okay, so now with the door sill off, I can go ahead and remove the weather strip. That way I can take off this portion also. Okay, and then okay, so now that we've removed the door sill, the weather strip, we've routed the wire behind this little cover, we're gonna remove the lower B-pillar trim panel and then route it through all the way into the passenger door sill and then around the passenger carpet and connect it directly to the radio. Okay, so the way that I've routed these is it already had existing clips. So all I had to do was pop it open and then route the wire through it. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and then just reclip it. That way it's, all the wires are nicely routed together. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! So now I can take the wire Alright. The wires have made it all the way back to the front where we need them. Maybe also get this piece. Okay. The only thing else I need to do here is just put the lower cover back on, and then pop the clips back in there, and it should be good. Okay, the next step is, recall that the blue wire is what sent a signal to the vehicle that it's in reverse. So we're gonna have to connect this blue wire to the orange and white wire, which corresponds to that reverse signal that it'll be getting. So I need to go ahead and splice both of them and then use a butt splice connector to mate the two. Okay. Wires are stripped and in the butt splice connector. So now we're going to take our handy dandy crimp tool and can't crimp. No, I refuse to crimp. Well, if I crimp, no harm. I need another one, which I have right here. Try this again. And okay, feels good. And then the next one, we had previously spliced this together, so I'm gonna have to cut it and then connect it to this red one here. So I'm gonna have to remove this. I don't have a lot of wire to play around with here, so we're gonna have to figure it out. Okay, I'm just wrapping up this last connector here. And heat shrink. connect this to the video. Beep, beep, beep. Moment of truth. No go. Let's see if I just plugged it into the wrong cable. Yep. All right, it looks like it works. So I can see that the camera doesn't look like it's oriented properly. So all we're gonna have to do is just rotate the camera and adjust it just so that it's in the proper orientation. But other than that, one more thing I can check. So if I toggle out of it, the next question was, will it automatically switch over to the camera? And it does. So you can see that I just shifted into reverse and the camera kicked on. Shifted it out of reverse and it's off. So yeah. I have a backup camera now. So yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and fix the orientation. I think we've already cleaned up most of our mess. Pop the bezel back out and take her for a spin. So okay, so we've gone ahead and rotated the camera, so now it's perfectly in line. No concerns with the orientation or anything like that. We zip tied the wires just to clean it up a little bit, and we're ready to go ahead and put the bezel back on. Look at that. Alright, you guys, so Suba Ruby is now fully equipped with a functional 2020 radio. We've also added a USB port and now the backup camera. So this is what she looks like now. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any ideas for future videos, go ahead and let me know in the description box below. And see you guys in the next episode.